Hey everybody, welcome back to the Manny and Shawn Experience podcast. Hopefully there's video this week.
I mean, it's recording so far, so.
Are we still in the month of January? We're still in the month of January. This has felt like the longest month of my life. We're going to talk about everything that's been going on in this madness. Up next.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Episode 94, the Manny and Shawn Experience. I am Shawn.
And I'm the other person on the album cover, Manny.
Yeah, he is. Welcome back. I know
back,
this is our
HD.
second show of 2025. And my God, has a lot happened since the last time we talked to you.
Girl, I feel like this month is just... We're recording this on the 26th. This comes out later this week. I'm just like, can we get to February?
It felt like a whole year's worth of things in just a few weeks.
Yeah. And it's not because January wasn't a fun time. January was a fun time.
Yeah.
It's just all the bullshit that came with it.
Yeah, which we will get into in the mixtape. But anyway, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing all right. I celebrated my 41st birthday. I'm now 41 years young. And it was great. I had an amazing birthday. It's just how I like it. Chill, cool, fun activities and experiences with amazing people. So, yeah. Shout out to this guy here on my right, Shawn, and Alex across the pond for just making a fun birthday. Decorations. They cook gourmet meals and shit. I was like, okay. It's 41 gets you the fancy shit. And we did a totally cool escape room, which I really enjoyed. I've always enjoyed escape rooms. We've done shitty escape rooms, and the one we did was phenomenal. What is that place called?
Game Over.
Game Over. Look it up. Even if you're not in Florida, they have them everywhere. We found some in London.
Yeah.
So if you're into escape rooms, they really do it up. Like technology is present.
It's a whole thematic experience.
Right. Like we did the Haunted Mansion, and it's like we were in a haunted mansion. So we're not sponsored by Game Over, but we had an amazing experience.
We did.
And I want to go back. So
We'll tag Game Over in this episode.
yeah, Game Over, hit us up. But yeah, it's been great. Therapy, second session was in the books with my new therapist. So things are moving, things are happening. February's just around the corner.
Love that for you.
How about you? Love that for me. Thank you.
I'm
Put
doing
my love on top.
well. Had my first therapy session of the year, and I haven't had one in like 6 months.
I
So
was going to say like half a year.
I know. That was great. Also had a great time doing your birthday week. And just that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to have that birthday experience before what happened on the 21st of January.
The 20th of January.
20th of January, sure.
Was it the 20th? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was on Martin Luther King's birthday. For the love of Christ.
But yeah, I'm doing well despite the world falling apart around
Not
me.
the world, just the United States.
The world isn't that great either.
Yeah, the world's not that great.
So
Anybody know a good price for an island that won't be eventually invaded on?
But we're back to discuss things and talk to you guys. Hopefully you guys are doing okay out there. Again, despite everything that's happening. So let's talk about those things in the mixtape.
Let's go.
You're in the mix.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Mixtape. If you're new here, this is where we talk about our pressing topics They could be experiences.
Pressing.
They can be what's going on in the world. Yeah. All the. This segment is brought to you by Gemini. Not sponsored.
Why would we ever?
But, there's just so much shit going on in our country that we just said, hey, Gemini, we're going to need some help compiling the top 10 things that happened throughout this past week.
You don't have to give away all the secrets.
You're right. I don't always do this, but there was just too much. Like, there's fires over there. This is getting banned here. This person's getting arrested. I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck's happening anymore because we've really been trying to stay away from the news. So it's hard to compile everything. So Gemini did do a good job compiling, and then we selected what we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So let's talk about those things.
Let's talk about those things.
First off, we're going to talk about the fires in California. I know most of you listening in the States, you know about the fires. If you aren't in the States, you may have heard about it. You may have not heard about it. But essentially, parts of California, mainly LA, I believe, have been suffering from wildfires, which have ravaged through the lands, destroyed lots of homes, taken a lot of lives. And it's been a complete, tragedy. There was a lot of finger pointing, and politics got involved, which I hate that is where we go nowadays when we should all just be coming together to help people.
Yeah, gone are the days where Democrats, Republicans, and independents just said, oh, there's a tragedy here. We need to
band together and help.
Band together and send some money.
I feel like the last time that happened, to be honest, was 9/11. It was just
Probably.
Everybody stopped being hateful towards one another for a minute, and pulled together. But then we kind of divided again.
Months later, we still have 9/11 conspiracies. So,
yeah.
But at least they band together, which now the wildfires have just become political for everybody.
Yeah.
One side blames the other side is blaming the other. But meanwhile, the people that are, the victims of this natural disaster are the ones suffering. And I don't make that joke there or laugh there because it's funny. It's always the people that are being affected that are always implicated by the people who want to play politics about this. Like put that on the shelf. People need help. We can decipher what issues led to said fires after the fact. We don't need to sit here now and say we're going to withhold money and this and that because of whatever policy one side thinks is incorrect in the state.
And then there was the whole thing where it's women firefighters, minority firefighters. I'm what are we doing?
I think the fire chief is lesbian. And that was one of the things they're like, if a real man was the fire chief, this would have never happened.
What is a real man?
You got to go ask them. I'm not sure because, I'm not even going to go.
So, okay, anyway, let's talk about the deets.
Well, the controversy around it is that officials blame state water policies for exacerbating the fires, arguing that too much water is being diverted to environmental purposes. This has been disputed by many experts who point to climate change, drought, and forest management practices as the primary culprits. So instead of making this political, we should, but that's the fun part, right? You make it political, you put up the mask as to what's really happening, which is climate change.
Right, which in itself is political. It's just true. we can't do or talk about anything without it going back to politics. And then you'll have people on either side saying, well, why are we making this political? And it's just because that's what people are doing. They're making it about politics. Climate change is climate change. It is
It's here whether you want it to be. You
Or
can
not.
deny the science around it as much as you want, but you can't tell me our weather is where it was 20, hell, you could say 10 years ago.
No, it is snowing in Florida. California is
Like,
on fire.
Real snow. Like
Our-
it's sad.
Hurricanes last year were double the size of what a normal hurricane would be. It's just, you cannot deny climate change as much as people want to. Like, natural disasters are going to continue to happen, and they're going to happen at an accelerated rate, and they're just going to be bigger and larger than they ever were.
I was reading somewhere, and I hate that I didn't quote the article, but it was essentially they were talking about the snow in Florida, that weather extremes become in the winter more stronger now because there's less ice capsules in the North Pole. So the polar vortex, which is, I can't explain that. Go talk to a meteorologist. But essentially it's when the strongest of colds just drop from the North Pole and dip all the way down into Florida, whereas where we had that snow. And I want to say 2-3 years ago, there was no snow, but the polar vortex really dropped down here. And it was that Christmas week, we were down into like the 20s. So all of this is contributing to the things that's happening now. The fire obviously has nothing to do with the snow. But like,
But the fact that a lot of people, and I've listened to people that actually are living in California, say that it's just been extremely dry there.
yeah, the drought.
And you mix all that dry grass, wood with the heat. I mean, California is essentially a desert.
Yeah, I never
So-
thought of that. We saw it. Somebody said it somewhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is a desert.
And then you spark a fire and it's just rampant because it has so much fuel to feed off of. And people, one video we were watching, somebody was like, why don't you just use ocean water to put out the fire? Because California is right next to the ocean. And you know what's in ocean water? Salt. Therefore, if you put ocean water,
I mean, they can use it.
they can use it, but you can't.
That's the last
use it.
resort.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you salt the earth, so nothing grows there anymore. Once you do that,
I don't know if that's true or not. I'll go with you on that.
okay, okay.
I mean, I've seen that debate. But I know they do use it as well if need be. There's also concerns of overusing the ocean water.
Right, which is because of salting the earth.
Well, there's that, but also the overuse of a natural element
Well, yeah,
that if we overconsume it to put out a fire, I know we keep saying there's too much water in the in the ocean, but then we're overusing it at that point as well. So it's just, I don't know how they prevent fires. Like, the right seems to think they know how to do it. And it's pretty much killing every environmental policy that California has. And I know there's a lot of bureaucracy around California's sometimes maybe overly left-leaning policies. But the point of this is, why are we fighting over this right now?
yeah. When people have lost their homes, and they have lost loved ones, valuable heirlooms, things that can't be replaced.
Yeah. So right now, we just need to be helping these people. And then 6 months down the road, you convene a committee, because we love committees. And you talk about what was wrong in those fires.
And what we can do to try to prevent that in the future.
But making every natural disaster, and I like to think if the fires were in Florida, would it be different?
Because it's a red state.
Yeah, would we be making such a political junkie out of this?
Well, now that 47 wants to potentially do away with FEMA and give it to states to handle their own national or their own disasters, I don't know. I don't think states are equipped to handle these things alone.
They're not.
And especially in most of the red states are where natural disasters happen.
COVID showed us states are not prepared to handle anything beyond a parade.
I mean, we get hurricanes here every year. Where they hit, where they land, the devastation they cause, it differs. But without the help of FEMA and the federal government, like, a lot of these people will still be struggling today.
You need an offset organization to oversee disaster management.
And that is all they do.
The state does what the state can do with the National Guard and the funds they have, but you need to have a whole nother department handling these natural disasters. Is it slow? Absolutely. That's just the government, period. I mean, you can say Florida was really shit at paying not workman's comp, unemployment during COVID. Like, people were not getting money and out of work. So I couldn't imagine the most recent hurricane we had come through Florida and Florida have to manage it.
Right.
Because they could barely manage what they're responsible for as a state. The resiliency of people who have survived in hurricanes this past year was the people.
Yeah.
The people that lived there and knew exactly what they needed to do. It was no thanks to state level or even the federal government, really. But all I'm saying is this doesn't need to be political. And getting rid of FEMA, as much as, I guess people do agree with this. I don't agree with it.
You agree with it until it's something that you need. And then you're just like, why isn't anybody helping me? And then it's because your state is not built to handle such things. And then you'll be crying, well, who's going to help me?
And not to mention, like, does the state... are they going to have to build a new system? Like, the amount of money that's going to have to go into each state setting up an emergency system for any kind of disasters to cover for FEMA if they disappear.
Right.
It's just more like government waste, which I thought was what we were not trying to do anymore. But let us know what you think. Do you think the fires are because of politics? Do you think it's about climate change?
What are your solutions? What do you guys think should be done? Let us know.
What's our next topic in our weekly roundup of hell?
So, 47 wasted no time in writing executive orders to fulfill some promises he made on the campaign trail. One of those was to end birthright citizenship here in the United States. And there's been a lot of controversy about this because it is the 14th Amendment. And basically, he wants it so that people can't come here, have a baby. The baby gets U.S. Citizenship. And it's a way for, I guess, the parents to stay in the United States. But it's also like, this is a constitutional right. If you are born in this country, then you are a citizen of this country. He's had some obstacles with this. A federal judge in Seattle temporarily blocked the order, on the principle that anyone born in the U.S. is automatically a citizen, regardless of their parents' immigration status. Supporters of the order argue that it closes a loophole in the 14th Amendment and deters illegal immigration. So if you know 45, these last few days have all been focused on immigration. We've seen ICE show up to schools. Secret Service apparently showing up.
It's not even their jurisdiction.
It's wild. People stopping people, asking for identification. You told me about that one guy who was from Puerto Rico.
Former Army veteran. He didn't have his ID and they put him in cuffs because He couldn't prove his citizenship, and he was a victim of what? Oh, he was brown skinned.
Yeah. Brown skin Latin is enough for them to question you. And if you do not have an ID, for them to basically arrest you.
This is a point of like when people don't understand this point. That's what privilege gets you. When you have a certain skin tone, that is a great example of privilege. This man just happened to not have his ID on him, but because he was of a brown skin, we automatically characterized him as a potential illegal immigrant.
The issues with this whole thing, immigration has been one of the biggest topics in both the previous campaign and this campaign. It seems to always be a topic of discussion. My thing is they never come together to work on a solution. Actually, they did, but 47 stopped it from happening.
Yeah.
Republicans and Dems came together. They had a piece of legislation that was going to be passed, and he put a stop to it.
He tanked it. He called the Speaker of the House and tanked it.
And so now we have mass deportations happening. We have them using the military to deport, like military planes and helicopters to deport people. We have people stopping people on the street, waiting outside of immigration lawyers' offices, going to schools, all in the sake of deporting people that may not even be illegal immigrants. There's a lot of issues with this. Yes, I don't think that people who are here illegally and commit crimes should stay in this country. I also believe that a lot of immigrants come from other countries where they don't feel safe and seek asylum here in the States. And I know that there's a process to do that. One, we make it extremely hard for people to go through that process. You have to wait years in order to even get the possibility of coming here. And so I understand why people will come here seeking safety, a better life for themselves.
Sorry.
I mean, depending on where they're coming from, yes, seeking a better life for themselves. But the thing that I think we miss the point is that a lot of immigrants pay taxes. A lot of immigrants contribute to the economy here in the States.
And a lot of them are collecting your food.
A lot of them I've seen a lot of interviews lately with farmers who are saying that because of these immigration policies and the deportations, that they may not have enough people to do the jobs that they need to be done.
Right.
So in that case, like a lot of Americans aren't going to do those jobs.
No.
Point blank,
listen,
they're not.
I don't agree that no matter whether you're legal or illegal, I don't think you should be making whatever these people are making, which is not a livable wage.
No, it's not.
But to your point, if we're complaining about strawberries and eggs and the cost of it right now,
it's going to go up.
Your life about to get real fucked. Because ain't no American going to go out there, work that many hours for that pay. So what they're going to do, they're going to either have to hire people and pay more or automate the process, which is going to mean technology, machinery. That's all going to be passed on to who?
Yeah, the consumer. Just with that tariff video we watched when the guy was just like, China's going to pay for the tariffs. And this man who is an importer exporter, he says I do this every day. You will be paying, the consumer will be paying for the tariff. It is not the other country. It is not the farmer that is going to pay for this. at the end of the day, the eggs that y'all were complaining about were too high. The groceries are too high. Well, guess what? None of that is coming down. If anything, things are just going to get more expensive.
Right.
And we won't have anyone to blame besides the Republican Party.
I did just want to loop it back to.
But no, we can go back to immigration.
His birthright.
Oh, that's what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
we went on a whole tangent here about immigration, but I'm looking at my notes like, wait, hold on. I think we're veering off course. We're giving an answer like Ron DeSantis gave in a press conference. He just started talking about bells and whistles, and I'm like, what was the question? Birthright citizenship. Yes, they're trying to get rid of it, and it does tie into immigration, right? There has been people that come here to have their babies, so they get the American citizenship. Though I don't agree with that process. I don't think we need to eliminate it from the Constitution.
No, because you have to make it very clear that, like, who gets citizenship here.
I have a list, but I don't think it's appropriate for. Because
why is it not?
I'm just going to upset a lot of people.
Okay.
There's only one line on it. That's what they want.
Yeah, so I feel like this is going to be a bigger hurdle for him to get over as far as the executive order is concerned, because he is also going to need Congress to pass that. And yes, it will go to the Supreme Court if it does get to that. And I know that the Supreme Court is a majority conservative at this point, but we are talking about the Constitution. And as much as y'all say y'all love the Constitution, y'all love to play in its space. So I don't know how this is going to shape out.
It's not going to deter migration here.
It's not.
Like, even with I migration doesn't slow down. I guess migration is the wrong word.
This is true. Again, I'm gonna just say this in rumor context, because I haven't seen enough or read enough about it yet. But I believe they want to make a change where if you come here illegally and you are caught, then you stand the chance to be put in prison for life, with no possibility of probation ridiculous. Or parole.
In the U.S. jail?
In the U.S.
Okay, so we're just going to pay for them for life then.
Yes. Some of the videos I have seen on this are liking this to slavery, because when you are a prisoner, you do work, and a lot of times that work is for free. So again, I don't know if this is like, well, you came here illegally, we're going to arrest you, and then we're going to put you to work on a farm somewhere. Oh. And you will work on that farm during the day. You will come back to the prison or wherever they keep you at night.
So this would be their mitigation to the loss of jobs in the farming industry by saying all these policies to deport people, but if we catch you then,
right,
in this hypothetical, you would then become a slave to the country.
Right.
And then the goods would go down. Is that what?
I don't know. Or would it say the same? Again, I'm just going to say hearsay and rumor right now, because I've only seen a couple of videos. It's
probably
on it.
Fucking true. Y'all sat here and said probably 2025 wasn't real.
But I don't put anything past this administration. I'll just say that. And if you think that is the proper way to handle someone who comes here illegally, I just don't understand your reasoning and thinking. I understand that people can look at a situation completely different from someone else. But if I'm just trying to come here,
it doesn't warrant life sentence.
It does not warrant that at all.
And then working for free.
There are people that murder people who don't get life sentences. Sometimes they get like 7 or 8 years. I'm just like, that doesn't seem right.
Don't seem no right.
So coming here illegally, getting life,
and then becoming a slave, essentially,
just blows my mind. But anyway,
wow. I truly hope that It's not real, but given today's climate, probably is. Next one, which no surprise to anybody probably, unless you don't live here, I guess, or don't follow U.S. politics. An executive order rolled back protections for transgender individuals, particularly affecting the access to healthcare and participation in sports. This could lead to discrimination against transgender people in various settings, including schools and healthcare facilities. So, what are the arguments for and against transgender athletes competing in sports according to their gender identity? This one is just a topic I don't even know how to answer.
It's
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Tina.
no, it's one I'm tired of talking about.
I mean, you pick these, but
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like I'm tired of having this discussion.
this should not be an issue.
Right. That's my thing. It shouldn't be an issue. Look, I don't know how to solve the issue with the sports thing. I really don't. I hear you. I hear you say, well, this person genetically was born male, therefore their body is different. They have bigger muscles. They have more strength. They have more speed than someone who was born biologically female, who we always tend to put into the weaker sex. Which
I take issue with that because I feel like there are women that are much stronger than men.
Yeah, there are. But I hear both sides of the argument. I get that people are like, it's not fair in a sports setting. But at the same time, regardless of that, transgender people are people. They are Americans. They can vote. They can
carry a job, pay taxes,
do all the things.
They are you and I.
They're you and I. I get that you might not understand why someone would want to go through those things.
And your job is not to understand it.
And it isn't. Your job is to
business.
Mind your business and let that person live their life. That goes for everything. That goes for the gays. It goes for the trans. It goes for black people. It goes for white people. It goes for the whole thing. We have enough division in this country already as it stands. And I don't understand people wanting to take away rights from these individuals who make up less than 1% of our population. I don't understand how that bothers y'all so much. And the first thing that someone will bring up, the kids. We tell y'all time and time again, y'all don't care about these kids until they are out of that womb. Once they out of that womb, you don't give a shit about them. Y'all don't want abortions? Fine. Y'all got y'all way on that. This man probably gonna make it a national thing because y'all already trying to block people from being able to buy the abortion pill, which is probably the easiest way to do that at this point in time. But transgender people are just people.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say on that. I just the topic annoys me that it's even a topic. People just need to be able to be left alone. The sports thing, I don't know how you fix that. I don't know how you fix that. But I strongly believe there's a middle ground besides excluding people from an activity.
Right. Maybe we have...
maybe I don't want straight people in a gay club. Should I, put an ordinance on that?
Yeah. Maybe we should.
I mean, like, you up in our space. And I know it's not a parallel scenario, but it's just like, that's how silly it sounds. Like, these are people. You don't know what these people have gone through to one, make the transition. And two, the medical expenses that come along with this is not something you laugh at.
It is not something that anyone does lightly. But I feel like anybody should be able to be who they are. Yeah. And even though you might not accept it, you might not like it, I feel like you should just mind your business.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what all that is. It's just mind your business and let people be. They're not hurting anyone. Transgender people are not hurting anyone. I'm the bathroom issue, the sports issue, the school issue, to me, are non-issues. There's so many ways to solve these problems instead of just telling people that you're weird, you're disgusting, we don't like you. A lot of you are murdering and killing these people for being who they are. And there's such an easy solution for a lot of these, and most of it is just mind your business.
Yeah, and conversating.
And they gonna mind theirs.
But again, the question of sports, I don't know. I get that's a touchy subject, and
My thing is maybe just make a trans league for every sport.
it's unfair. It's unfair to trans people that they won't be able to compete at the same national events probably and stuff like that. Not to imagine the current state, how they would be treated going into a sports arena. There's a trans group,
I get it.
I don't know how you fix that. I feel like conversations need to be had there instead of automatic denial and rejection of people. We refuse to have the conversations that maybe get us to a solution.
Mm-hmm.
We just run to rejection all the time.
Also, a great point that was made on another podcast is that I know a lot of people get upset about pronouns, but I don't know if you know this, but we all use pronouns all the time in everyday life and in common sentences. You use pronouns. They went to the park. He's at lunch.
Yeah, but you're telling me I have to use a pronoun on somebody specifically. That's the problem they have.
It's we use them.
No, because now
already.
we're using it. Now Shawn is saying I need to call them they versus he. That's the problem for them.
I don't see how that is a problem because it is still a word. So instead of saying he, you say they. It's not that hard. And I'm not being a pronoun Nazi, and I'm not Elon Musk. I'm just saying changing one word because someone asked you to kindly do so. I don't see how that affects your everyday life. It doesn't affect the price of eggs. It doesn't affect a tariff. It doesn't affect your income tax. None of that fucking changes. And it blows my mind that we are at the point in this country where someone saying they prefer to be called something other than what you think they should be called raises this much of a stink.
Privilege. Entitlement. Wow. That's been a heavy topic. But you know what? Maybe people who don't understand transgender people need to sit down and talk to somebody who's transgender and understand their life. You probably don't have... You probably have more in common than you really know, besides the part that they are transgender. You probably have a lot more in common with them, and you're trying to kill their livelihood, their lives, their, like, what kind of life is it? Always being under attack. Like, it's just, anyways.
That I wish that would happen, period. Like, I feel like I wish there was like a TV show. Well, there's a couple of YouTubes that do this, but where opposing sides sit down and actually hear each other, and then they find out that you do have more in common with someone than not. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people aren't educated on things because they don't want to be. They don't want to understand trans people. A lot of people rather make jokes, and you think it's funny.
It's a team sport. People just jump on that wagon.
Right. And these are real fucking people with real fucking emotions who it's already hard enough for them to get up every day and put on a brave face and go out into the world that hates them and yet they do it anyway. And just because a majority of you who are, fit into the typical normal standard of what we think gender is, that because this person is outside of this, then they should be treated differently. I have really struggled with staying positive during this whole transition, this whole administration, because within a week, so many things have been taken away, and I'm kind of getting to my POV. I'm so sorry.
Which topic fits in your POV?
Okay.
We're gonna wrap up this segment with probably the smartest person in the United States of America right now. Her name is Pamela Hemphill. And you're probably wondering, who the fuck is that? Well, she participated in the January 6th Capitol riots, which, everyone's been pardoned now for their activities in that, including killing cops, assaulting officers, breaking federal buildings. Just a few of the things they did. Pamela said, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. She did not accept the pardon. She said, quote, "I broke the law that day. Period. Black and white. Taking a pardon now in light of actions would be a slap in the face to the Capitol Police officers, to the rule of law, and to our whole nation." And that's why I say Pamela is one of the smartest people in the United States of America right now.
I applaud Pamela.
Can we just read that last part again? She said, "It would be a slap in the face to the Capitol Police officers, to the rule of law, and our whole nation." The party that what? Stands for law
and order.
And order.
We saw the interview with one of the Capitol Police.
He's not.
And the reporter asked him,
he's still mad.
How are you feeling now that Donald Trump pardoned all those people on January 6th? And he was like, thanks a lot, America, because, that all of them broke the law.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. There were thin blue line flags that day. Y'all assaulted police officers with bear spray. Y'all had weapons. Y'all killed people.
You broke into a federal building.
You broke into a federal building. Now, tell me why those people should be pardoned.
Right. Like, what if we get a posse and we go break into the Capitol? We're going to be treated a whole lot differently.
The only reason he did this, one, is because that was one of the promises he made. Two, this also emboldens his people to do whatever the fuck they want to, because they felt like now someone use this as an example. If Trump told someone to go murder someone and they did, and he said, "I will pardon you if you do it," what would stop them from doing it?
Yeah, nothing.
Anyway, Pamela, girl,
you're this week's star on this podcast.
You definitely get the gold star this week, and I'm proud of at least one person breaking out of the cult that is MAGA.
I mean, like, she acknowledges it. I broke the law, and it's a slap to law. The party of law and order pardons criminals.
And I know what y'all out there thinking. But Biden pardoned his whole family and then the whole committee of January 6th. And you know why he did that? Because 47 said on the campaign trail that he will seek revenge on those people.
Yep.
So why wouldn't I protect my family and protect those people who were actually holding up the rule of law?
That officer got a pardon, didn't he?
Which one?
He got a pardon from Biden because he testified
in
the January 6th
he
committee.
Did.
And he says his life has been absolute hell. He has been threatened. His family has been threatened.
His mother got swatted.
Yeah. Like,
he was like, I forgot how old she is, but like,
she was out there.
someone threw dog feces at her. She was outside watering her lawn.
Yep.
I'm like, who does that?
So, hell out. The pardons were there to at least keep them from being. I don't even know what they would do to these people in terms of a legislative subcommittee investigation. But what pardon, you can be mad at Biden for doing that, but I think for their protection, it was needed because they were telling the truth, and y'all didn't like that he was telling they were telling the truth.
Right.
And what have we learned from this group of people? When people are telling the truth, we're going to censor you, and then we're going to get rid of you. And so this was this week's mixtape. I know it was down and dirty, but don't worry. Our next episode is going to be full of love and nasty questions y'all asking. So we like to break it up every once in a while. So if politics ain't your thing, we always come back with the funny ones down the road.
Yes.
So let's get into what's your POV. Shawn, just start exactly where you were in the last segment and go with your POV. Action.
Hey, POV time. I'm gonna just get right to it. This country is not looking like the United States anymore. It's been going this way for a while, and I feel like we have reached peak divided states at this point. It's turned into team sports, and you're either team red or team blue. I know there's independents out there that are like, no, I don't like either party, and I get that. But
the majority of the team is red and blue.
Right. The majority of the team is red and blue. Just like Jill Stein will never be president. I'm sorry to break that to you, but she won't. You can vote for her every time that she goes up for president, but she will never be president. So thank you. The amount of executive orders that were passed in the last week that repeal civil rights, that repeal discrimination laws, that get rid of DEI, all of these things are just telling me that you are whitewashing everything. And if you think that what I'm saying is not true, I would love to hear your rebuttal, and I will respectfully read it and process. That word, whatever. I'm hot.
It's cold here,
but nothing you can tell me doesn't say that this man in this administration is basically whitewashing everything that has been done. We are getting rid of protections for discrimination in the workplace. And I know this is on a federal level because someone made this argument. It's not everywhere. Where do we start?
But that argument, you can bosh it with companies are taking the lead by the federal government.
Right. Because we've learned a lot of companies have gotten rid of their DEI programs or initiatives.
I can say my company is standing firm on them.
Right. And some companies are.
Yeah. So
like Costco.
I get that. But to the point that you're trying to make is the federal government's directive has specifically set a standard where companies are now openly getting rid of DEI practices.
One thing is that y'all don't understand what DEI is, and that's fine. Like, you can be dumb and not educate yourself, and you can go off of something some chud wrote on Twitter about what DEI is. But that doesn't...
People only focus on the D.
Diversity.
And what diversity means to a lot of people is color folk.
Right. So I've read, and again, I'm getting off of X because I cannot stand to be there. It is a horrid place. Just the fact that people think that because you are a certain skin color, you get a job over someone else who is more qualified That is not what DEI is. DEI is just a way for people who have been oppressed, and I know that is a word that a lot of you hate to hear and do not believe.
Oh no, he said.
But yes,
said an offensive
people
word
are
to me.
fucking still oppressed in 2025. Helps people be able to get a leg up in whatever job market that they're trying to get a job in. I really hate that this is about race. It's about gender, because these are just words and things to describe people. And yes, I wholeheartedly believe the best candidate for a job should get the job. And that is whether they are white, brown, Asian, transgendered, disabled, whatever the case may be. If they are the best candidate for the job, then they should get the job. Now, if removing DEI still allowed those things to happen, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But I know that in my heart of hearts, that will not happen with some of these things in place. Now, again, like Manny said, there are companies that are upholding their DEI practices and standards, and I applaud them for doing so in the face of this administration, who loves to talk about retaliation and revenge. And I am sick of the dog whistles. I am sick of the gaslighting, telling us that we did not see Elon Musk get on stage and do Hail Hitler, and not once but twice, and then talking about, no, that's not what he did. He was saying it was from his heart. His hand was over his heart, and he was giving it to the... No. You won't gaslight me. You won't gaslight the rest of the people that live in this country.
Well, except the 70-some million that voted.
They don't count.
Okay.
Because you are already on board. You have already drunken the Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for your discrimination. I'm not here for you calling me out my name. And I won't stand for it. I also will not go back in a closet. I will not hide who I am, who I love. I will continue to be myself. I will continue to make sure that my voice is heard, because I want to speak up for people who are not able to speak up for themselves, and whatever reason that may be. There are a lot of LGBTQ people, and I say all of the letters because it includes all of us, who are not able to be as vocal and loud as some of us can be. I really need our community to come together. I really need us to push back on a lot of these people, because what they want you to do is to be silent. What they want you to do is go in a corner and cower and hide. I refuse to do that. I refuse to be oppressed by these people. I will continue to be myself. I will continue to do the work. I will continue to be the great human being that I am, and show kindness and love to those who show it to me. I will say, do not disrespect me. Do not try me, because I am not the one. We really have to take a stand, because this country is just turning into something that I don't want it to be. And this is my podcast. Whoever that person that said that I should leave the U.S., if I feel like leaving the U.S., I will do it. But as it stands right now, I am staying right here. I'm not going anywhere, and I will not be intimidated to do so. So you want to continue to whitewash this country and make it about the cis white man, feel free to do so. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired, and I'm going to open my mouth when I see these things happening. And that's my POV. I'm sorry it was so long.
I mean, we've come to expect that. Just because we rebranded didn't mean we'd get a shorter Shawn.
I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah, I agree with all your points made. And it's just, I don't know where our country goes from here. And, I keep thinking about how many people voted for him. And I'm just like, I'm trying to still understand how that many people voted for him. I'm also still trying to understand how people in disenfranchised communities voted for him as well. I'm still trying to understand when I see people that are supposed to help other people in industries where they are qualified to assist other people voted for him. How do you properly provide care for people? Sorry, that was just a tangent off of yours, but I don't know where we're headed. I know the other side looks at us and thinks we're stupid, and that's fine. I just want you to sit there because we are in the find out. We fucked around. Mm-hmm. Now we're starting to find out, and you may not feel it currently as quickly as some of us are in the communities, but I boo, sit down because you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna feel it, and it's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt. And you're going to be like, what happened? And I'm going to be sitting there and I'm going to say, I don't know what happened, but I sure as hell didn't vote for him. And this is another thing. All these people crying on Twitter, which I also need to get off of, about, oh no, I didn't really think he was going to do this. I didn't think he was going to do this. I'm going to sit here. And if anybody comes to me and says that to my face and you voted for him, I will say to you, I'm sorry for your loss. Thoughts and prayers. Because you got yourself into this. I didn't get you into it. I knew what was coming. We got to experience this for 4 years. We got to take the car out and we got to take it on a test drive for 4 years. You knew exactly what was going to happen when you put him back. And you should have known that it was going to be an upgraded model. And it was going to be 10 times more powerful than what happened before. And you may not like this lady, but Hillary Rodham Clinton told you. And y'all decided to say, but her emails. A lot of the dysfunction going on right now happened at that consequential election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was fun and games.
Because I strongly believe if he did not win the presidency that year,
we wouldn't be
even if we went Republican 4 years later, that wasn't Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
I do not feel we would be this deeply divided and focusing on whitewashing our country.
Yeah.
And to these companies that I know you ain't listening to my podcast, but I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it. To these companies that are out here now whitewashing all your DEI, your LGBTQ plus pride. I don't want to see your goddamn float on any motherfucking gay pride parade. And I tell pride agencies out there, I know you want their money. Don't let them come to your parade. They don't represent you. The moment they felt threatened by, oh, it's a man. You got to watch Wicked to know that. The moment the man made a directive, you put your head between your how does that thing go?
Between your legs.
Between your legs. I want to say tail.
Don't put your head in the sand.
You put your head between your legs and you said, oh no, we need to start complying. Which leads me to believe that you didn't give a fuck about us to begin with.
You were pandering.
You were pandering to us. You were pandering for our money and we were stupid enough to fall for it. And I'm just over it. I'm over it. I don't even know who the fuck I can buy from anymore that doesn't want to eliminate me. I'm going to have to start growing my own shit in my backyard. Like, seriously, like, I just cannot with this whitewashing. And we've never been naive to the whitewashing its existence. It's always been there.
No.
Just like sustainability. We greenwash sustainability. Like, oh yes, we 98% recyclable material. Y'all all out here a bunch of frauds and you're only concerned about yourself. If you put together all the money that you motherfuckers donated to Trump's inauguration from you rich ass bitches, we could have at least solved maybe 5% of the hunger that's going on in this country. And that's pretty low, probably more, because it would have been like $10 million, at least from the hedges from California, the bigwig CEOs. That $10 million could have gone to something so much better, but you decided to donate $10 million to this motherfucker, his inauguration.
That was held inside because of the cold.
Because he didn't want to see a small crowd. I really think that's why.
Girl, want nobody there.
Obama inaugurated in 23-degree weather. I'm just saying. I don't know if that was a POV or just a rant off of what you said, but I am tired. I am tired. I am so tired of this. And again, you're not in a community. You may not be in a community where this is going to affect you. So you sitting there like, why are these two bitches complaining so much? And it's because you don't know what it feels like.
But see, there's this famous, I don't know if this is a meme, a quote, whatever. I've seen it on Instagram a couple of times. I've seen it other places. It's basically a little character, and it basically goes like, when they came for the immigrants, I didn't say anything because I wasn't an immigrant. When they came for the black people, I didn't say anything because I wasn't a black person. When they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything because I wasn't Jewish. When they came for me, there was no one left to help me because everybody else is gone. One by one, like, you might not feel like it is happening to you because you feel like you're at a place where you are established or privileged in some way. It starts small and it just gets bigger from there.
Hitler didn't start out big.
Not at all.
And I know some people are sitting there, oh, it's 2025. That's never going to happen here. I'm like, once again, you're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself.
Oppression happens every day. Governments get overthrown all the time. Like, a takeover is nothing. Like, they're already proposing legislation to give this man a third term. Like, what more evidence do you need?
Yeah. So, if you don't agree with us and you're on the other side and you actually made it this far, I welcome a conversation. I don't want to hear the talking points that I can hear on Fox News.
No.
I want to hear your real point of view that maybe makes me say, okay, I see your point of view, but I strongly disagree with your point of view.
And it's okay to disagree with people. I'm perfectly fine with having a conversation with someone on the other side if you can rationally explain to me why you feel the way you feel about things.
Not how Trump has told you to feel.
Right.
Not how this administration has led you to believe you need to feel and hate the things that you need to hate.
Right. Like, do you genuinely feel that way?
Right. That's what I need to hear because I haven't heard it yet. And that's probably part of the reasons why I just don't get it.
And half the time, y'all are just repeating what this man says with no concept or understanding of how these policies will affect you. And again, a lot of people vote against their best interests just because they hear a few things that sound good to them, but you don't take the time to educate yourself on them. And that's where we get to the find out part.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've gone long, but to go back to the tariff video we were watching, like, the guy was so convicted that he was right. Mm-hmm. And he was just spitting out the talking points he has heard on the media. And the guy finally gave in and said, I guess I'm not educated enough to understand.
There was one guy on there who I also respect who said, well, and this was a different video, but it was about January 6th. He was like, maybe the media that I watch did not show this.
Yep. I remember.
Therefore, I was uninformed that this was what was happening, which is fair because a lot of people watch just Fox News, and Fox News is just going to show you pro right-wing things and not show you objectively, hey girl, this wasn't a good thing.
Right. I mean, to that point, it just, the only thing I could probably agree on with Donald Trump is that the media does not report as it should. Now, obviously, he wants it to report a very specific way.
Put
but
him in a good light.
Yeah, like, we should be able to show in the media both the blue side, the red side, the middle side, and then you should be able to make a decision on your own versus being fed consistent propaganda. And I'm not saying I like MSNBC, CNN. I think all of them are a bunch of fucking crocs. They report what's going to give you ratings. They don't report. Have y'all heard of the fires anymore? They're still going on. But you haven't seen that shit on TV no more, right? Because it's more entertaining and more ratings driven to talk about all the shit Trump is doing. Obviously, the fires will be back on TV because he went to California. Yeah. But all the photos are focusing on is Governor Newsom putting his finger in, like shaking his finger at Donald Trump, which famously happened also to President Obama many years ago. So that is today's episode. Again, sorry if it's a little heavy for you. Taking in digestible pieces.
In other news, Beyonce canceled her announcement due to the wildfires. Miss Tina, her mom, lost her home over there as well. But, you know, we'll have that to look forward to sometime in the future to bring us joy.
Absolutely. Find us on MASXP23. Find us with MASXP23 on Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We're no longer on any of the other social networks because TikTok has now been purchased by the Conservative Party. So,
and though we would love to leave Instagram because it is also a meta product, it is just...
It's the only product people are predominantly on.
Yes.
So
also make sure you unfollow Donald Trump and Melania or JD Vance because they did that automatically for some people. If you don't want to follow them, sorry.
And in these hard times, please do something good for yourself
and do something good for someone else.
Yeah. Even if it's just listening when somebody's sharing.
Yeah. Go listen to the new JoJo EP.
Oh, it's so good. Hey, it's JoJo.
That's a little soul cleansing.
It is. Or listen to Debía Tirar Más Fotos by Bad Bunny.
Which is it's fun. It's a vibe. But also
learn about the Puerto Rican culture that's trying to be
tells a story.
Executed out of the island by Americans. Pacific Americans. Anyways.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us.
That news story is for another day, I guess. It's too long and we've gone long.
We love you.
See you next time on the Manny and Shawn Experience podcast. Bye, y'all.